Welcome back to Dreams of the Nameless, where rules and laws should be applied equally, even now, in this dystopian moment.
Previously, we have spoken about equal treatment under the law, and I'll say it again now. When it comes to following the law and being moral, although these are not synonymous ideas, I fully support the investigation and prosecution of lawbreaking and wrongdoing, irrespective of political affiliation or other considerations, generally speaking. So, with that in mind, CNN reported that, quote, the Minnesota Campaign Finance Board ruled on Thursday that Representative Ilhan Omar violated state campaign finance rules excuse me, by improperly using campaign money for out-of-state travel while serving as a state representative. The board ordered Omar to reimburse her campaign committee roughly $3,500 and is also fining her a $500 civil penalty. I say good. I'm not a lawyer. I'm not an expert in campaign finances, but it seems to me that she might even be getting off light. Despite the fact that, generally speaking, I like Omar, corrupt campaigns and campaign financing are huge issues, and they need to be dealt with severely. Even so far as being removed from office or being forced to repay all the campaign funds in general, just the whole fund. In this case, or so it seems to me, maybe the funds were misused to pay for travel expenses in an accounting firm in a way that she maybe didn't understand was wrong. It wasn't like she was just buying a new house and expensive cars and just like straight being abusive of the money. But so generally speaking, I mean, it could have been a rookie mistake. But still, like, it shouldn't be treated lightly, despite the fact that I like her. So I have to say, is she getting off light, do you think? Is Ilhan Omar really getting a fair punishment here? Is $500 really adequate for the crime, or what do you think?
Well, I'm still not clear exactly on what it is that she did. So she flew somewhere for the purposes of a campaign, but because it was out of state, it was technically not appropriate for her to have used the campaign funds to do so? Is that...
Yeah, I'm not sure.
Well, that
Because
seems
that
of
part of it
paramount
has been
importance.
pretty clear overall. Give me 1 second here, sorry. That part of it was pretty clear overall. So I don't know if it's because it was out of state or if it was just because that it wasn't technically related to her campaign or why that specific set of money, is owed back to the state. I just know that that's what the Campaign Finance Board ruled, and they said that, like, yes, this was a misuse of that money.
Yeah, I guess I'm loath to comment because if it was something that was for the campaign, and what we're talking about here is money from Pool A isn't supposed to pay for the travel that happens because of reason B, you have to use Pool B money to pay for B stuff, and Pool A money can only pay for A stuff, and oops, she did it wrong, and so therefore she gets fined. And if that's what we're talking about, for me, it's almost a non-story. And I'm guessing, I don't know if you mentioned this already, but the Republicans haven't really said a whole lot. And
yeah, and that was my
that's
next
probably
point.
why, is because this type of thing is probably super routine.
Yeah, I think there's that, but I also wonder if it's not a little more insidious and that they're not saying anything because they don't want to be, casting a light on campaign finance abuses because everyone does it.
But in this case, we're not talking about them, so I am not going to be like Trump. Every video does not have to be an excuse for me to slam on the Republicans. In this case, again, if it was as simple as it was all above board purchases, but the routing of the money was inappropriate, then I feel like this is a pretty fair response. You have to pay the money back. You get slapped on the wrist. That's not how we do things. You have to make sure that money from Pool A only pays for A stuff, and B has to pay for B. You made a mistake. But if we're talking about like she like stole money and fucking just like took a trip, and she got busted, and they're only charging her $500, then yes, I would agree with you that she's getting off light, and that a bigger investigation should be happening. But since we don't know which one of those it is, it's hard for me to make
Yeah,
it
and it's hard.
concrete.
It's hard on the specifics, at least. I know that in one of our previous videos, we talked about how there was a gentleman in Minnesota who was claiming that she had broken all kinds of campaign laws and yada yada yada. And as of yet, this is the only thing I've read where it seems like they've actually made progress in that end and actually said, nope, we think it was just this thing. Here's the punishment, and it's over. I don't know if there's continuing investigations or not. I wasn't able to find anything about that.
That's what I'm saying. Is this the type of thing where, you know, like NFL players break rules all the time and get fined astronomical sums of money, and because everybody understands what occurred, like you're not supposed to showboat and you showboated, so you pay this money. Nobody is saying, oh, well, you can't be a football player anymore. Nope, it's just like, you got busted. You shouldn't have did that. If that's what this is, then I'm fine with just fining her and being like, yeah, that's not how you do it. You got busted. You're in trouble. Here, pay us $500. Case closed. I don't care. But again, like if she's using campaign funds to just go fuck around, then you know that would be a problem. And of course, by fuck around, I mean just like go on vacation or do whatever. It doesn't matter to me if she's actually.
So I guess for me, I think what I guess what I was after with this story is that just because I favor a politician or like the things someone says does not mean that I don't think they should receive equal treatment. If she's done something wrong, you know, let it come to light and let her be prosecuted or punished or fined or whatever the proper terminology is. Likewise, I mean, I say the same for all the Democrats, all the Democratic nominees and government officials, all the Republicans, etc. If you're out there doing things that are wrong that we need to know about, it should be prosecuted. It should be stopped, regardless of party. And so I think part of why we don't hear more about this type of thing is not just because the Republicans fear it or the Democrat. I think it's because everyone kind of collectively understands in the Congress that maybe sometimes these funds aren't used the way they're supposed to, but the whole Congress is full of glass houses, so nobody wants to throw the first rock.